Welcome to this week's Inbound Debate. I'm James McFarlane. On my left I have Dan Holt, Managing Director of Inbound. On my right I have Nick Pateman, Technical Director of Inbound. This week we're going to be talking about coming back from a Google penalty. Now I'm going to set the scene for you guys before we go into the question. Okay? It's a Friday night. You've packed up from the office. Okay? You've gone home. You haven't been invited out. You know, you're sitting at home, you're on the computer. You bought yourself a Chinese.
In my pants.
You've got a beer, right? And you're browsing your web rankings, because that's what I do in my free time anyway, right? And you refresh, and you see that your rankings have disappeared. Okay, they've disappeared. Yeah. You frantically run to the computer. Okay, you go to search engine round. Yeah. You search engine round table, right? You go on search engine land. You see there's Google's latest update. Okay, you panic, right? The next week is sort of what you do is you do your best to try and recover that. You work out what's gone wrong, you look at what everyone else is saying, and you try and fix your site as best you can. You know, you remove links, you might de-optimize it, like depending on what penalty you've got. And you wait a month, and nothing happens. You still have no traffic. At that point, what are you considering? Are you considering redirecting to a new domain, or are you considering completely starting again fresh, or something different? Are you going to wait a little longer?
Do you want to kick that off, man?
Well, I think I would say maybe, obviously it's dependent on a variety of circumstances, and I'd say a month in, I'm probably still feeling pretty patient. I mean, a month in SEO terms is not a long time, but certainly I would say as the 1 month became 2 and 3, I would definitely be considering options in terms of potentially setting up on a new domain. My feeling on this is that because we've certainly seen. I'm sure anyone in the SEO community in the last couple of years have seen that the way that the penalties, they've come pretty thick and fast, and there have been a number of sites that have done everything within their power to try and recover and not fully recovered. And ultimately, a business just can't go on indefinitely waiting for that magical day for everything to suddenly be right again. So my feeling is that I would absolutely not rule out that possibility. I know it sounds like a really big step, a radical decision to make to pick a new domain, but I feel that it's just absolutely the lesser of two evils in some circumstances.
I have to disagree. I think I would never redirect to a new domain, not at least like...
It's quite a bold statement, so you'd never...
Well, you never redirect to a new domain.
Listen. Let me finish.
Is that wrong?
If it took, you said 1 month's not too many, but it's only been like 2 or 3 months since disavow tool came out. People's expectations are wrong when it comes to SEO. They get the disavow tool, they fill out a bunch of domains, and they expect like tomorrow they'll find that their rankings have magically come back. These things take a lot of time. Restarting on a new domain is mad. Like it's crazy. It's not a thing someone should be doing so early on. That's not a thing.
Okay, but what about this scenario?
Sorry, man. You had.
Sorry. You're right. No, you're right.
Anyway, what I would do is rather than wait, I would wait some time. But what I kind of struggle to grasp is the idea of moving domain name based purely on organic when there's so many more potential channels you could be going down, whether it's social or pay-per-click or email marketing or something. Okay, email marketing, you might need traffic to get the capture the emails, but making all your decisions for a domain name which could reflect poorly offline and whatever else, purely on the fact that your search rankings aren't performing particularly well, is a mistake early on. I do agree in 12 months' time, like if things aren't coming back, maybe it's time to just pack up. If you're reliant on Google traffic, maybe it's time to just pack up.
One thing I would say, okay, because I just want to butt in before you guys just butt heads again, because you're always arguing on these debate videos, right? One thing I would say, okay, is we, like the Mum Network, have looked at buying big sites. Like, that these are big sites getting millions of visits each month, okay? So it's not the same as like a small business, but when we look at the traffic distribution, okay, because in terms of buying it, one of the big things we look at is risk. So if it loses its organic traffic overnight, are we going to be screwed? When we look at its traffic source distribution, we normally find that around only 50% is organic traffic, and around 10% to 20% of that organic traffic is normally the actual brand name, which you're going to show up for anyway. So what I'm saying is, when you're saying you should work on different traffic sources, do you think that's reasonable to say that you could get 50% of your traffic that doesn't rely on organic, and then would that affect your decision to redirect or not redirect or anything?
I'm not entirely sure I understand.
What I'm saying is, you're saying that you should work on different aspects of your marketing campaign. Instead of like getting frustrated that you're not doing well in organic, you fix it and then you work on like Facebook, social media, other things, right? And you're saying just scrap it and start everything again. Like, because you're saying you can't wait.
I'm saying that would be a possibility. I mean, what I would what I would say, because I think for me, in most circumstances, in some circumstances, it's absolutely not a possibility because the domain is so important to the brand, and the brand has a really big offline presence, and therefore the very notion of beginning again from an online, changing the domain online would just be an absolute non-starter.
Yeah.
However, I think in other circumstances, I think one of the most intelligent options is to leave the domain running as it is, like remove all the bad links, do all the disavow stuff, clear up any potential panda issues, do all that good stuff, and then leave it. And potentially keep it ticking over with like a blog or whatever it may be, but really just leave it.
Okay.
But at the same time, then beginning with another domain that actually means that you can run the two domains parallel. There are in certain circumstances you wouldn't want to do this, but at least then it means that you might be moving forwards again. Okay. And the domain A might one day recover, and happy days, you might have two great sites, or you might decide to go back to that first site, but at least you're not treading water indefinitely for month after month, year after year, just waiting for things to recover, only to find they never do.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely give a word of warning to anyone out there who's thinking of buying a new domain. If you buy a new domain, there's every chance you'll get sandboxed, which basically means that you could be out of the rankings for 6 to 12 months while Google kind of tries to get to know what your site's about and if it's legitimate. But what I would do is, if you're an affiliate marketer and you're dependent on revenue from organic search, which a lot of affiliate marketers are, then I would redirect. I would do every kind of like workaround possible because you just want that organic traffic back as soon as possible. But in like most business settings, for me, it'd be like a multi-channel approach. You would disavow everything. You would get on with doing the good things and making sure your site was improved in content, improved in social, improved in engagement, whatever else, and improved in link quality, obviously. But at the same time, you would just you would go down these other approaches like pay-per-click and like social advertising. Facebook's platform now is apparently very good. So there's loads of other channels that I would take while also cleaning up, like you were saying.
Okay, well, thank you very much, guys, because it's kind of, I think we've used up our 5 minutes. So thank you very much for watching. This has been Dan Holt. This has been Nick Pateman. I've always been James McFarlane. As always, been James McFarlane. This has been the Inbound Debate. Speak to you next week.